the first day when you kind of break your diet, call it a cheat day, call it a carb reload, is actually normally not that enjoyable. I've discovered that the thing that I normally want to do is I want to like do 2 days in a row and then not do it for like a longer extended period of time. Because the thing that happens during the first day really is you're just kind of like a hungry animal and you're just going to eat everything that you can and you're going to eat anything you're going to get your hands on. And it actually ends up being not a very enjoyable experience, mostly because of the fact that you're just kind of like swallowing everything you can get your hands on. So it ends up being just like you being bloated, you're not being very saturated, and you're not being very happy because you can't really enjoy the food because you're just like trying to eat as much as you possibly can. And also you have this additional stress of knowing that this is the only day you're going to be able to eat stuff and you kind of want to get as much stuff inside of you as you possibly can. And that just ends up being a bad experience from every single angle that you can look at it. So the thing that I do now is like I do this first day where I'm obviously completely off of my rocker and I just eat everything. But then the next day is actually like the day you can get to enjoy, and the next day is actually the day that kind of like makes much more sense because the next day you're not really as hungry anymore. You already ate everything that you could imagine. So it's like the baseline of food that I would eat during the next day is like the normal good food that I would eat on a daily basis anyways. Obviously it's a little bit like roided up because like for example, instead of like eating 200 grams of sweet potatoes, I eat like 500 grams, then I eat more meat, then I make like salad and stuff. So like the meal is significantly beefier, but at the end of it, it's like still the same healthy food that you normally eat, and you can enjoy it. You can eat it. It's going to be good. You can add oil to it, and it's going to be amazing. And then on top of it, obviously, you can add like some sweets. I eat some ice cream afterwards. I'm going to eat some chips and stuff like that. And like you don't really have this urge to like eat everything instantly. You can kind of normally enjoy the food, and it's just like a significantly more enjoyable process. The downside of that, though, is you are going to gain a little bit more weight because you're not going to be binging for one day, you're going to be binging for 2 days in a row. But then the thing that happens afterwards is you are quite good and full for at least 2 to 3 days. So for the next couple of days, you're not even going to be that hungry and you're not really going to be thinking about food. And then you just kind of have to control yourself. You just kind of like stay away from food for the next 2 weeks. The first week is you basically kind of recovering and you getting back down to the weight you were in previously. And well, then the next week after that, you can make some progress. You can lose some more weight and then see how you feel. If you are like me and if you take diet a little bit to an extreme, then most probably 2 weeks at this stage is going to be the longest period of time you're going to be able to not eat food and not have a cheat day. But I mean, if you're a little bit more reasonable and if you don't go in such an extreme caloric deficit, then most probably you can even last longer, and then most probably even the cheat days are not going to be as intense as they are for me. Because the problem that I have mostly when it comes to dieting is not really that I would cheat on my diet, but it's more that I take the diet to an extreme. So I would be like really fucking restrictive when it comes to my calories on a day-to-day basis, and not at the beginning. At the beginning of the diet, I'm a little bit more chill. But then when I get deeper into the diet and when I reach kind of like 10% body fat and going down, then I become a little bit manic and a little bit obsessive and I start like taking it a little bit out of proportion and I start being like very restrictive. So that kind of fucks with me mostly, and I feel like that is kind of the thing that mostly makes my diet a little bit more complicated. And in a sense, it's a good thing to have because like my biggest problem is that I'm too good at sticking to the diet. But then it has the downside of me like really binging when I actually start binging. So like the first day is like crazy. Like after 2 weeks of not eating anything, the first day of like the cheat food thing is basically going to be like absolutely insane. So this is actually why I need 2 days, and this is normally why I kind of stick to this kind of method. So I feel like for normal people that are not as crazy as I am, the best approach is have 2 days in a row. The first day you're going to be a little bit more intense and a little bit crazier, but then the day afterwards is going to be like mostly just like normal food that you would eat anyways, just like more of it. And then on top of it, add something that you like, add some ice cream, add some like fucking chips or whatever it is that you want to eat. And then the big thing afterwards though is like you have to go instantly back to the diet. Like you can't keep on doing this for longer extended periods of time because that's just going to end up with you like not really being able to control it and you're just going to kind of bounce off the diet completely. So like you do have to be strict in the part where like you decide that it is going to happen for 2 days and 2 days only, and then it should happen for 2 days and 2 days only, and then afterwards you go back straight into the diet. But yeah, basically the second day of me cheating on my diet is going very well. finally I'm actually enjoying the food. But well, tomorrow it is going to be directly back to the diet, so let's see how is it that I'm going to be feeling tomorrow. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.